breaking news today.
Please subscribe and then check notification box to get all breaking news alerts.
Houston officers uncovered a small stash of weapons and ammunition in a Hyatt hotel room early Sunday morning after showing up to arrest a drunk man at the hotel that hosts one of the city's largest New Year's Eve parties in the city. Security staff at the Hyatt Regency Houston initially called for police backup around 1:30 a.m. for help handling a highly intoxicated man at the hotel bar. After hours of investigating, police finally managed to get him up to his room. They charged 49-year-old Russell Lawrence Ziemba with assaulting a peace officer and trespassing. The Hyatt Hotel did release a statement earlier today. "The safety and security of our guests and colleagues is our top priority, and consistent with the hotel's prepared security plans, heightened measures are in place on New Year's Eve. We are fully cooperating with authorities on an investigation, and further questions should be directed to the Houston Police Department." Although Houston police are confirming this was an almost repeat of the October 1, 2017 Las Vegas massacre where country music concertgoers were shot for no apparent reason, they obviously couldn't take any chances. They added Ziemba had no intention of using the arsenal of weapons and ammunition they uncovered during their investigations. There are reports of a gun show in the area which could explain why the man was so armed, but he has yet to be linked to the show. The OCR reports. Washington, D.C., October 2, a Park Service employee lowers the U.S. flags on the grounds of the Washington Monument to half-staff. On October 2, 2017 in Washington, D.C., President Donald Trump ordered the flags on all federal buildings to fly at half-staff following the mass shooting that left more than 50 dead in Las Vegas. The gunman, identified as Stephen Paddock, 64, of Mesquite, Nevada, allegedly opened fire from the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino on an outdoor music festival. Police have confirmed that one suspect has been shot. The investigation is ongoing. While some concertgoers hit the ground Sunday night, others pushed for the crowded exits, shoving through narrow gates and climbing over fences as 40 to 50 round bursts of automatic weapons fire rained down on them from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Casino Hotel. By Monday afternoon, 59 victims were dead and 527 injured in the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. "You just didn't know what to do," a Kiyoshi said. "Your heart is racing and you're thinking, I'm going to die." The gunman, identified as Stephen Craig Paddock, a 64-year-old retired accountant from Mesquite, Nevada, killed himself before officers stormed room 135 in the gold-colored glass skyscraper. The avid gambler, who according to his brother made a small fortune investing in real estate, had been staying there since Thursday and had busted out windows to create his sniper's perch roughly 500 yards from the concert grounds. The motive for the attack remained a mystery, with Sheriff Joseph Lombardo saying, "I can't get into the mind of a psychopath at this point." Paddock had 16 rifles, some of them with scopes, and a handgun in his hotel room, Lombardo said. Two were modified to make them fully automatic, according to two U.S. officials briefed by law enforcement who spoke on condition of anonymity because the investigation is still unfolding. At Paddock's home, authorities found 18 more guns, explosives and thousands of rounds of ammunition. Also, several pounds of ammonium nitrate, a fertilizer that can be turned into explosives such as those used in the 1995 Oklahoma bombing, were in his car, the sheriff said. The FBI said it found nothing so far to suggest the attack was connected to international terrorism, despite a claim of responsibility from the Islamic State group, which said Paddock was a soldier who had recently converted to Islam. In an address to the country, President Donald Trump called the bloodbath an act of pure evil and added, "In moments of tragedy and horror, America comes together as one. And it always has." He ordered flags flown at half-staff. With hospitals jammed with victims, authorities put out a call for blood donations and set up a hotline to report missing people and speed the identification of the dead and wounded. They also opened a family reunification center for people to find loved ones. More than 12 hours after the massacre, bodies covered in white sheets were still being removed from the festival grounds. The shooting began at 10:07 p.m., and the gunman appeared to fire unhindered for more than 10 minutes, according to radio traffic. Police frantically tried to locate him and determine whether the gunfire was coming from Mandalay Bay or the neighboring Luxor Hotel. At 10:14 p.m., an officer said on his radio that he was pinned down against a wall on Las Vegas Boulevard with 40 to 50 people. "We can't worry about the victims," an officer said at 10:15 p.m. "We need to stop the shooter before we have more victims. Anybody have eyes on him, stop the shooter." Near the stage, Dylan Schneider, a country singer who performed earlier in the day, huddled with others under the VIP bleachers, where he turned to his manager and asked, "Dude, what do we do?" He said he repeated the question again and again over the next 5 minutes. Bodies were lying on the artificial turf installed in front of the stage, and people were screaming and crying. The sound of people running on the bleachers added to the confusion, and Schneider thought the concert was being invaded with multiple shooters. "No one knew what to do," Schneider said. "It's literally running for your life and you don't know what decision is the right one. But like I said, I knew we had to get out of there." He eventually pushed his way out of the crowd and found refuge in the nearby Tropicana Hotel Casino, where he kicked in a door to an engineering room and spent hours there with others who followed him. The shooting started as Aldean closed out the 3-day Route 91 Harvest Festival. He had just begun the song When She Says Baby, and the first burst of nearly 50 shots crackled as he sang, "It's tough just getting up." Muzzle flashes could be seen in the dark as the gunman fired away. "It was the craziest stuff I've ever seen in my entire life," said Kodiak Yazzie, 36. "You could hear that the noise was coming from west of us, from Mandalay Bay. You could see a flash, 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 flash." The crowd, funneled tightly into a wide-open space, had little cover and no easy way to escape. Victims fell to the ground, while others fled in panic. Some hid behind concession stands or crawled under parked cars. Faces were etched with shock and confusion, and people wept and screamed. Tales of heroism and compassion emerged quickly. Couples held hands as they ran through the dirt lot. Some of the bleeding were carried out by fellow concertgoers. While dozens of ambulances took away the wounded, some people loaded victims into their cars and drove them to the hospital. People fleeing the concert grounds hitched rides with strangers, piling into cars and trucks. Some of the injured were hit by shrapnel. Others were trampled or were injured jumping fences. The dead included at least 3 off-duty police officers from various departments who were attending the concert, authorities said. 2 on-duty officers were wounded, 1 critically, police said. Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman said the attack was the work of a crazy lunatic full of hate. The sheriff said authorities believe Paddock acted alone. While Paddock appeared to have no criminal history, his father was a bank robber who was on the FBI's most wanted list in the 1960s. As for why Paddock went on the murderous rampage, his brother in Florida, Eric Paddock, told reporters, "I can't even make something up. There's just nothing." Hours after the shooting, Aldean posted on Instagram that he and his crew were safe and that the shooting was beyond horrific. "It hurts my heart that this would happen to anyone who was just coming out to enjoy what should have been a fun night," the country star said. Before Sunday, the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history took place in June 2016, when a gunman who professed support for Muslim extremist groups opened fire at a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida, killing 49 people. A suicide bombing at an Ariana Grande concert in Manchester, England, killed 22 people in May. Almost 90 people were killed in 2015 at a concert in Paris by gunmen inspired by the Islamic State. There is something very wrong with this whole picture. I am not a conspiracy theorist in any way, but who takes so many weapons and ammunition on vacation? And plus the fact he was drunk out of his mind doesn't help his case in having so many firearms available in a top room in a hotel room. This just all sounds way too simple and tidy for my taste. There has to be more to this story that we haven't yet heard. Maybe because they don't want to scare people on New Year's Eve into staying home instead of going out to celebrations such as the ones at that very hotel? Whatever this is, let's just all try to stay safe out there tonight. I am sure whatever it is we will learn the truth in the coming days and weeks. Please share in the hopes we have a peaceful and joyous New Year's Eve celebration. Follow us on Facebook at Freedom Daily.